I agree, Zoe. I have unlimited amounts of potential and talent. And Mitch is here as well. Well, he was, but he's not here currently. I agree with Scott. This is a must-win for the Toronto Defiant. And not just like a must-win, like a 3-2, like, hey, we just got by and we just tweet out like GG win after. Like, you have to blow out the Paris Eternal here. Like, there's no way you can kind of come into this series and just play average and it goes the distance, or even Paris is going to win it, because they've been looking better lately. I think this is one where Toronto, if you want to be a team that contends for your mid-season madness qualifications, even contends for like T3, right? As the season goes on, you have to win games like this.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, these are the ones where you look at your schedule going forward and go, right, we got these, nailed them. The thing is, there's no guaranteed wins like that. I think maybe New York, we're hoping for that, where they went up against Paris and served them up their first win. So, yeah. Does Toronto have a lot of things going for them right now? Let's talk about rosters here, because this team, I'm really enjoying watching for a couple of reasons. Those are, finally they realized that putting Hisu on Sombra is a crime against humanity and should be punished by like the highest, at the highest degree, right? The guy comes out on Sojourn, looks incredible. He's part of the reason, in fact, why the Defiant come out of the gate so well against the Gladiators, right? They get a map in that series. He and Muse really turning up. I also think Finale chiming in at key moments on that Tracer has been a great look for this team. Look, Toronto in a great position to show us their best tournament qualifier right now. I really like what they've got going for them, Matt. This might be their time to make a deeper run into a tournament.
And you look at some of these teams across the league that are struggling, and you look at their rosters, and there's not one that you kind of go like that you look at and it's like, oh yeah, well, I get why they're struggling. Like, everybody has like talent across the board. For me, it's just putting it together. Where the Justice have kind of looked a little bit all over the place sometimes. Like, it seems like Toronto just really hasn't hit the peaks that you think they can. Paris, we kind of know what we're going to get with this roster. Dove and Wub, I think, have looked good together. Obviously, they need a little bit more time. We know the supports. We really like, I know, Khan and Dridro, and then the tanks are going to see probably switches between Dawn and Vistola over a few maps.
Yeah, I think the Eternal struggled to get sort of decent value out of Vistola in their previous matchup. Saw a lot of Sigma. A Sigma sort of composition that was exploited pretty frequently by their opponents. So it's something to sort of bear in mind here is that, I don't know necessarily how much we see Vistola in this particular series, because we know, Muse wants to play mobile tanks. He wants to circumvent less mobile front lines as much as possible. Muse is like a true carry Doomfist player.
It really kind of comes down to the map pool, whether we see like Hotba or Vistola. Like, if you had like a Circle Royale or something like that, right, then you'll definitely see like probably
not today
those tanks come in. And with this lineup of maps, yeah, you're probably not going to see too much
we have 66
variation off this. Yeah, maybe Route 66. I mean, that's a possibility, right?
But it will be off to Ilios first in this particular matchup. Obviously, the Paris Eternal here, they're in a position where they're behind the 8 ball for multiple reasons, but one of them is that they're forced to make some very big roster changes on the fly. Neither of these sort of DPS players were on the team at the start of the season.
Well, they're not. They weren't forced to make those changes. They decided to make those changes.
Okay, sure. I mean, I would consider like losing your games being a pretty compelling decision. In fact, and I'd probably feel forced. My hand is forced. But that's semantics, right? The point is they weren't on this team at the start of the season, right? We're looking at Glister and Naga here. So Paris had to really retool their roster very quickly here, and they're playing catch-up. There's no other way of putting it.
Yeah, you're correct. That doesn't mean that their kind of like season is a wash, though, right? Like that countdown cup at the end. You have an opportunity to play into the playoffs if you're just, not one of the 3 worst teams in NA. You just need to kind of battle back out of that hole, which the holds kind of make that, top 6.
I mean, even Lassie can't get them out right now, Matt. Like, they are well and truly in there for now.
The top 6 are, probably might be unrealistic, and it's just that, that top 10, though, is something that's achievable.
All right, here's the dive. It's good. Hisu's, and we get rid of Khan. Muse maybe not expecting that insane burst that Wub can provide here. So Sticky Bomb's going a long way. Dispatches the main tank here. All right, but without Khan, the Eternal don't seem inclined to invest too deeply here. Dahn's Wrecking Ball will be met by Muse, and there it is. Nice little double from Dahn. Barely a break in stride or roll from this man.
Yeah, the knockback is so huge. Just see Don move forward, try and maybe take some of this high ground control, and this will be the Paris Eternal with control of the point first. So nice dive that comes through from Paris. Wub able to put up some big damage.
Oh, beautiful.
It's really nice, doesn't lose momentum and just slightly changes course here to get that knockoff.
Swerve straight on into the Defiant, does Dan. Trying a similar performance there. This time, Defiant are wise to it. They get rid of Dan. He still has the damage there. The railgun finishes the job. Twilight's getting pressured here, but Dub throws a pulse into the corner. Twilight just walks out. Khan not really able to peek as much as he'd like as Finale forces him to keep the hatch battened. And there's a pulse bomb here now for this Tracer. Although it's more likely the Defiant just try and play around the minefield while they can keep Hisu standing, who's playing very close up, might I add. And they get the point while Dan is away.
Yeah, no, it'll be Finale now with a pulse bomb here. So, yeah, a pulse bomb and a sound barrier if need be. So Muse gets quite low, gets hit with the Discord. As I think you mentioned it earlier, that damage that comes in from Wub, probably a little bit underrated. Where Muse not really expecting it. Yeah, Wub able to take out Twilight.
I love that from Khan. He drops down preemptively, sees the Wrecking Ball go over his head, knows he's going to get pile drifted if he doesn't just walk off the edge. Then a Transcendence, keep his team nice and healthy in the fight, and the Paris Eternal looking actually really comfortable in this setup, this composition. This might be a bit of a match here, Matthew.
Oh, absolutely, as Muse going to get taken down here. So it'll be, you'll actually have a pretty good set of ultimates here. You had the Transcendence pop there from Khan. I think he was a little bit under pressure and then ran his way towards the point. But nothing here for the Toronto Defiant. That's going to be massive to try and just push on through here. And you have a duplicate here from Wub. So Paris could get through this fight relatively cheap and potentially hold for the rest of this point.
Jisoo leads the way for his team right now. Those couple of final blows. Oh, that's beautiful. Wub sails into the sights and Hisu blasts a hole straight through him.
Yeah. He pops that overclock when he is weak up on their high ground and has to look vertical, like just straight up to be able to hit that shot. That is nasty there.
And what a way to set the tone for the rest of the fight. Hisu's elimination on Wub is pretty big, but Paris maintain many of those ultimates, coming into what would be final fight territory for them if they can retake. So plenty of good stuff here for the Eternal, but they need to be very wary. Coalescence, Minefield, both of those can really scuttle their plans. I'm curious to see where Wub decides to duplicate as well. Maybe a Moira. Unclear. Khan blown to smithereens here as Wub's able to find the focusing beam and work Hisu out of the picture. Here's that minefield on point as expected, and the Defiant really not advised to step onto the point right now. They may cede some control to the Eternal as this fight continues. We have a duplicated Tracer and a stick for good measure as Muse falls.
You were wondering who he was going to duplicate. You had double Tracers on the point. They're very difficult to take out. We're going to see a sound barrier used here from Toronto Defiant. It's only going to connect to...
No.
They sound barrier and run away. It only connects to 3 players.
Yeah, they realized that wasn't what they wanted there. Dridro maybe...
And they get a kill out of it somehow.
Yep. Hisu maybe just punishes Dridro for pushing too far. Muse comes back onto the point pretty quickly, but doesn't really have to back up. Now it's here, though. Trying to knock some of these Eternal players off the point if he can. Finale finds a stick. It's good damage. Madan has a pretty robust health pool in the first place. Another pick from Hisu, though. This time, hard to get a headshot on the Wrecking Ball. You know he has to be out of rolling form to do that. Khan finds 2, though. Last name, Idge. Never forget. Finale gets kicked as he tries to bring the Zen down, and there's Dove. Gonna remove him now. Dridro moving over to a ball support, and that will be that for the Eternal first round for Paris.
And if you are a Toronto Defiant fan, this is exactly what you did not want to see coming out the gates here. Is no, Paris, you're playing with House of Money like we talked about. Obviously you can see the record, not great. They have probably talent that's a bit better than that record, just haven't been able to kind of get everybody on the same page.
No, stop.
What? I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
You implied it. You hinted at it.
And I think they do. I don't think the talent on this team is bad. Like, they just have not been able to have enough time, get everybody in sync. And even then, if you're kind of beating a team like Toronto, who Toronto really hasn't had any like major changes throughout the course of the season, that's a bad sign for the Toronto Defiant.
Hisu currently deadlifting the Defiant. Maybe not where he wants to be right now, but such is life. Moves on the Winston. Toron gets slapped by something. Taken very, very low as one keeps the pressure on. Those sticky bombs are just beautiful. I mean, if Twilight doesn't fall to Darn, it's to the focusing beam, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, they've had no answer for this Echo as Wub has done a nice job, obviously, landing the stickies and some shots and being in the sky, but it really hasn't been a ton of focus on him. So Finale's able to take out 2. Can you just keep this going long enough to maybe have some teammates come back? You have Charon here as well.
Yep, they get Dove. He runs out of recall. Darn has to leave the point here. I think Dridro is going to linger a while as he tends to do, but quite often it doesn't go well for him. So gives control. Now the Defiant are on the point.
Yeah, so in a scenario where it looked like Paris Eternal was going to be able to take the point, hold on to it for a very long time, only 18%. Toronto comes in, Finale picks up 2 players, and they're able to flip it right back. Let's see how long they're able to hold for.
I think the Echo is a key point of difference between these two. Wub is so good at punishing Muse, especially when he has a Discord Orb on him, which is something the Defiant don't have access to. And then there's Khan. What a weapon for the Paris Eternal. Another final blow for him. Okay, dude. Yet another. Hisu, nice work though. It's going to be a nice disrupt the shot placed at Darn, who can't get out of it in time. And there's a pulse bomb involved as well. Look at the healing on Hisu. This guy, talk about high economy, everything getting invested into the Sojourn, and he still is delivering some dividends, Matthew.
And why not? I mean, if he's able to pick up a few kills like that, we know how good Hisu is. Just invest everything you have into him. And I think what you're starting to see, especially when you go to Finale's POV, just putting more emphasis on hunting down this Echo. Tracer is great against Echo in terms of trying to fight her in a lot of scenarios as we get Transcendence forced out, with Muse getting the nano boost. But having Finale try and focus down Wub more is definitely going to help.
Oh, Wub maybe not ready for that. Muse able to follow, and Primal. So despite not having Sojourn, they're going to invest a bit further in this fight. Khan, that is quite the getaway, my friend. I tip my hat to you. The Zen survives, the sound barrier comes in, but Darn doesn't get it, so Finale's able to finish off the Wrecking Ball, and the Toronto Defiant maintain control. Dridro's sound barrier ends up being for naught.
Yeah, as they just chuck that in there, and I mean, maybe ends up being for nothing, but well, you still have the Tracer here and maybe the Winston, so you should, you're going to have the Tracer and the Winston are going to be able to contest for a little bit, so.
Well, also the fact that Khan just finds an insta-kill, again. Things you don't count on late in a fight, right? And Wub comes back off the spawn to find one as well. So after the sound barrier, things got much better for the Eternal.
The Eternal stacked up with ultimates now.
Yeah, Pulse Minefield feels fine if the Defiant take a fight inside the room, which looks like they're opting to. So this could play into Darn's strategy here. Yeah, Minefield dropped down. There's a lot of them there, but the Defiant disperse as much as is practicable. He's still across the map trying to land these rails. Uncharacteristically, maladroit.
Oh, still almost so low.
Yeah, Darn not getting away from that one. Wub coming out of that duplicate there. Unclear what he chooses to copy. And the Defiant still have control. They're ticking up now. 99's around the corner, and they have the numbers.
And they have a nano boost here if need be. As they're going to put it on the Muse, just put him in the choke. As in that type of situation, can't lose Dawn there, especially when he's so crucial to contesting the point. But Dridro's going to take out Twilight.
Yep, sometimes Paris get gifted a kill from a backliner. Oh, I mean, Khan is up for that fight, News. You better know that he's ready to kick you. Fine, Finale gets in there and gets rid of the Zen. It looks like the Defiant are forced to concede.
That's wild that the Paris Eternal are able to flip that in a scenario where they lose Dawn really early. I think he's trying to get over the top of the building, maybe try and go back to that Mega, not able to make it. They lose him, and you think that's going to be it, but Paris able to get on and battle back with some big kills from Khan. So Hisu goes over to the Sombra.
All right, we talked about this. The start of the show. Hisu's so good on Sojourn, but now wants that disruption. Let's see if it's worth the loss in damage. They get Dridro. Hisu rather has to get out of the fight there, but there's a pulse bomb for Finale. Another hack on a Wrecking Ball would be great, but Hisu's still returning to the fray here. Wub is so low. Nice work by Twilight there. Not always easy to connect an unscoped shot at that kind of range. It looks like Toronto have done it. They've done enough in this round. Muse is there, just punctuates the point.
They're going to do enough to flip it. Can they do enough to... Okay, so they get rid of Dridro. Yeah, nobody going to be able to come and contest. I was going to say, we see a lot of long contests here. They go on well, but it'll be Toronto taking our second point, tying it up.
Yeah, look, I mean, the Sombra switch there maybe not really being the difference maker in that round. Controlling Wub I thought was crucial, man. I really like that we spent some time watching how Finale chooses to do that, because it's not intuitive, right? Tracer obviously is much better up close against targets, and at range she looks a little bit weaker, but Finale was just trying to keep tabs and make sure he knew where Wub was at all times, so Echo couldn't use that element of surprise. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit of focus. What do we see Paris go with here? Because it looked like they were hovering the Sombra as well. So are we going to see a Sombra mirror here and then have a difference of like Finale will play Tracer? Yeah, so you'll play Tracer with the Sombra. They're going to play Tracer Echo. And the only big difference here is you're going to have Twilight on the Moira with Khan on the Zen. So a lot of extra damage coming out here from the Paris Eternal.
Well, Khan really exemplified that point just now. Muse, look at his health disappear. 500 damage in a matter of seconds. He still barrels forward, trying to get rid of Dritro, but Dub's going to be there for the trade. It's a 3v3 presently, but Twilight still stands. There's healing for the Defiant as he comes back into the fray. Doesn't matter though, because Wub's already found another one. Finale getting the goop.
It seems so odd to me, Mitch, that in a meta where Zen is so strong, you have Twilight on the roster and you're opting to put him on like Moira. I feel like he could be so much more impactful playing the Zen.
What does that mean Chorong has to play though? Lucio Zen.
I mean, you can play the Paris Eternal or just playing Zen Lucio or play the Brigitte, right? I mean,
yeah, I think Dritro definitely wanting to have a little bit more to help Khan with. Pulse on Muse. Muse gets away, gets a Mega. Chorong with a Discord orb on him now. Dove is spoiled for choice target-wise, but unable to complete and convert on any of those. Muse again, getting the yellow mist. Still in this fight, but the Defiant, look, their healing is going to run out eventually. They've really got to try and make something happen here. 45% and ticking for Paris. They're not being shifted off the point yet.
No, and you're not really getting a ton off the hacks. Now you do. That's going to be an EMP. And they'll take out Dawn, but you're going to end up losing your Lucio.
That's clean from Finale. Cues out the pulse before the dash comes in. Then the blink just delivers it. You still need the point right now, and Eternal have decided to stall out with these rather nimble heroes.
Yeah, Wub actually used a duplicate on the Moira there. That buys enough time to get the Tracer and the Wrecking Ball back in.
Dawn is taking negative damage right now. No Discord orb, remember to deal with that. Good lord, he's been here a long time. Gets off the point, still under control of the Paris Eternal.
Yeah, just really low damage up, but they use a sound barrier here? There's only like 2 players. Okay, we're going to have a Transcendence come through. Yeah, this is just going to go so long. This is so good for the Paris Eternal.
Nah, fight continues to stretch out. They're up to 91%, and they might even win this fight. This fight's been going for so long.
They have the rally
Eternal have been able to get their players back in position. The rally is up from Dritro. Khan benefiting from it. Yep, it's so hard to take down the Zen with that rally in play. Paris looking very good. Khan playing from a very safe nook here while Dawn plays the doorman. The Defiant hang their heads here. I mean, they're playing the wrong comp to try and blow the Eternal up quickly, right? There's no shock and awe. And they're not able to deal with the Wrecking Ball. Dawn stays alive for so much of the round here, and that's pretty annoying for Toronto. They're going to have to try and stall for themselves, but they need to convert a stall into a winning fight, and that's just not easy to do here. And it's not enough.
No, it's Paris Eternal. It's really just one elongated fight here on Ruins, and they were able to take it. I really like the compositions they were running. I think Wub was really impactful there on the Echo. I think if you're Toronto, you definitely got to look at what you're doing going into map number 2. I think there's a lot of different setups you can do that would utilize your players a bit better.
Yeah, I love the Wrecking Ball from Dawn. This is something we mentioned, right? Maybe last week even. One of the strong points for Paris. And, of course, the Khan on the Zen. Can't go wrong with that. Good start for the Eternal here. Looking to get their second victory of the season. A couple more maps required before that, though, so don't go too far. Good start in this series for the Paris Eternal. They walk in at 1-9. They're looking to double their series wins for the season. And right now, I'm really enjoying the Zen, the Wrecking Ball looks from them. Both look excellent. Paris look primed to make that a reality.
Yeah, I just wonder, like, from the Toronto Defiant perspective, like, can you do a little bit of a better job optimizing some of the players that you have and what we've seen from them in the past to get the best out of them? You lose that first map against a team that's like 1-9 right now with Paris, where no, obviously they've been improving, but still, if you're Toronto, you want to solidify your spot as a team in the Midseason Madness and just a team that's in the upper echelon of the West, where we have Hotba now will come in for Mute. So we were wondering, like, are we going to see a substitution in terms of tanks from either team throughout the series? We actually thought no at the beginning, but we're going to get one here from Toronto.
Right, and maybe we expected to see that on Route 66, which is going to be our third map of the series. But it happens here in map number 2 for Kings Row. Now, I guess we can kind of understand that, right? You can, and we've seen many Sigma compositions played on, this map. Doesn't feel potentially as optimal, unless Hotba's got something else in store for us, but it's very unlikely we should see a Zarya here. I really just thought we'd, I don't know, see more main tank play.
Well,
it may not be it,
so I didn't think so, because I think you need some kind of versatility here on Kings Row if you're gonna, let's say, if your Sigma kind of falls apart, right, you're able to fall back on some of the other compositions.
Sure.
And we just haven't really seen that, in kind of like Hotba's wheelhouse so far.
Huh. No.
Okay.
This would be a bit odd, I think.
They're on offense, so still some time to make some changes, but we'll see what they decide to run. I mean, it's a possibility. You just think that if you're going to bring Hotba in, it's not going to be to play a main tank type of role.
Oh, well, let's talk Eternal first. Again, Darn's Wrecking Ball, great. Obviously, the environmental kill potential for most of this map quite limited. They're playing Ana Zen, Dridro on the Ana, Khan on the Zenyatta, which has definitely served the Paris Eternal fairly well so far. No Echo, of course, as defenders, so we'll see Wub on the Tracer.
Zen is so strong, there's no reason not to play him really kind of in, almost every setup you can think of.
He's so good.
So Toronto, they'll have Hotba on the Sigma, so they'll run double sniper on the Sigma to set things up. So, okay, so we'll get Finale on the Genji, so interesting composition here put together by the Toronto Defiant.
Pretty heavy pick-based composition. Toronto really want to get Hisu firing. Darn doesn't really need to do too much yet. Getting a bit of information is crucial, and they're reckoned more likely to give up a lot of the map here to the attackers. You can see just that with Hotba so far forward already on this stairwell.
Yeah, but you just can't get in a position where you can get like collapsed or pinched on, right? As that's big damage going down on the Dawn as he gets hit with a Discord. Not able to follow it up, but do you push him back enough? Yeah, you see Paris trying to have the regroup around this wall that you're going to be able to get some percentage here.
So you can see where the vulnerability is for this Eternal defense setup. As soon as Darn takes enough damage, he has to fold away. And the rest of the Eternal don't really see fit to pick their heads out either. Dove, though, makes an appearance and gets rid of Hisu. We're one tick in already. This is a Wrecking Ball defense setup. It's complex, to say the very least, and with the Bite Grenade connecting on Darn and Khan respectively, it's an opening for Toronto to push a little harder. But Chorong's been removed.
Well, you see, as soon as they get onto the point, that's when Paris can come from multiple angles and kind of swarm.
When you give up, 2 ticks in order to do that, though, so you need to be pretty clean from here on out, and that's kind of the problem. This is where the execution can fall over.
Yeah.
What? Overextends just for a second too long, and we're back to the place for Toronto.
They're just spawn killing Chorong.
Yeah, the Defiant are going to be forced a little bit of attention to be paid towards them. Finale gets a Nano Blade here, so got to get it done the old-fashioned way. He needs to connect a few of these shurikens to really pressure Dridro out, but the rest of his team's done a stellar job. Hotbar and Hisu at the 4. And that's a ball going by the wayside.
Yeah, and this will be a take for the Toronto Defiant, so bringing in Hotba, playing that Sigma composition works here at the start. What does Paris Eternal do? It looks like, for a second there, I thought they were going to switch, because you had Dridro going over and playing the Batiste for a second. Maybe you want to get it used to this minefield and then make it the switch off of this composition. What
is
can
Don
bring in like a
switch
Batiste
to?
here in the streets phase.
I don't want to, you can play, I guess you can play the Winston against Sigma. We've seen that happen fairly often, but it's a scary backline to dive.
Thanks for the help.
You have Wub there with you.
Feeling better.
Unlike
Can you play like
Sigma Mirror.
like a Reinhardt composition with the Mei, kind of how we saw Gladiators play earlier?
Dan definitely tried to force a lot of Ryan in his time. All right, here we go. Rolling on in. Minefield there. Adaptive shielding. Keeping him alive, apparently. Dragon Strike came through from Hisu, relatively long range here, and Paris able to avoid it for the most part, but not the minefield, apparently. Finale walks straight into one of those.
That feels much better.
And Dub really zoning, I'll be honest with you, just zoning with that Disrupt to Shine ultimate combo. And Toronto will get caught inside that corridor, so a chance for Paris here to ease into a more comfortable defense.
I could use a hand.
Yeah, there was a Biotic Grenade hit there at the end where you thought maybe they'd be able to kill like one player if you're Toronto and then come back with an advantage, but was not able to finish anybody off. So going to allow Paris to still stay at full strength for this next fight. Although Toronto, oh, well,
That's
I was
big.
going to say you have a Blade and you have a Transcendence. Maybe you're able to go a little bit early, but you get taken out.
You're sending a real strong message to the defenders here that the high ground is not safe for them, right, with where Wub was
Tarong
positioned there.
uses the trance here. They're going to try and fight this where they were actually a few points down at the start.
Finale Force trans, that is a big deal here. Paris lose 2, have to back away here. Should be able to deal with Chorong comfortably enough, but getting Khan to part with that ultimate, no mean feat by any stretch.
Yeah, both sides. I don't think that Paris expected them to end up pulling out their Blade, but you know, when Chorong had to use a Transcendence, they kind of said, well, let's just go all in. They end up using the Blade there, able to get a kill or two, but it's enough to push back Paris Eternal and get Toronto some space.
All right, going into a nano fight here. I mean, not a lot of great candidates for nano boost, I'll be honest with you, for this Toronto setup. Maybe Tracer again. Just saw Kevs to get a few himself. Oh, yeah. Nice accretion.
You do it with the Zen. We saw a lot of the Zen ones from the Justice today.
Right, defensively those were used quite often, but still very valid. Wub with an Nanoblade here, looking straight at the Sigma. Oh, that's unfortunate. No Gravitic Flux for you, sir. Khan takes an orb and sticks it where the sun don't shine. Toronto down to 3.
So that's unfortunate to end up losing your Gravitic Flux. No Nano. Gravitic Flux gone here. You know, Dawn the minefield, like it's going to be pretty impactful. You see this kind of like corridor that the cart pushes through. Like the street, it's so narrow that that minefield is going to cover a lot of that point.
You can see how this is a real trap game for the Toronto Defiant. They don't look very comfortable here, playing Sigma on King's Road, dealing with this constant wrecking ball pressure. Dove also finding some key picks to start these fights. He's hoping to chart support. Ultimate needs to respect that Dove could come over the top, and he peers over the ledge looking for a kill. So Toronto outlasts the minefield, and now it's time to go again. Dan runs into the Dragon. And then he goes, but it's Chorong to find the first pick.
And then they have a few other players low, so they're going to be able to deal with Dove. Khan just like a raid boss back here on the Zen.
Yeah.
Seems to be living forever, but you know, with everybody else dropping, they should be able to take the second checkpoint.
That is nice. Very scary dealing with Zen there, but Finale barely batted an eyelid. So the Defiant get a bit of a time extension. It's not a huge one, I'll be honest with you. Just over 90 seconds left to finish the map, and getting slowed down a heck of a lot. We're looking at a Transcendence now for Khan, the last one, if you recall. They were able to force out of him by some heroics from Finale. How easy will it be this time, we wonder?
Well, you don't give yourself a ton of time here, Toronto, to be able to finish the map. Like a map completion, obviously, what you're looking for here, and that's a huge pick. So he's
right boss down
because yeah, another shot from Hisu, man.
Hisu looking dangerous. Off the Sombra to the Sojourn to the Hanzo. Starting to hit a little diff. Okay, so sees the overclock coming. Dove gets a nano. Oh, it gets shut down. Nano boost on him. Oh, rather Bionade, excuse me. Dove just overextends there to try and open things up, and may have put the Eternal in a very compromising position here. Khan has to use Transcendence, there's no doubt about that. He's going to buy some crucial seconds here, but there's a Discord orb on Dart, and his time is short. Wub also now getting that. Minefield from Dart, but he's put to sleep for a moment here. Gravitic Flux looks to catch Khan, and they've got the Zen.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's enough. You have Wub and Dawn right in the face of everybody. There's gonna be Dawn getting another one. You still have Wub here, and they're gonna be able to back out if they need. Oh, the accretion just misses. His hop is so low. They're trying to keep him alive. But Mitch, you have a blade and a minefield yet again as Paris holds strong on D.
17 seconds now left for the Toronto Defiant. And just a Dragon Strike now could deny sort of that low ground, that little hallway could deny the left-hand side. Chorong, another pick early here. It's not the first time he's done that. Onto a Wub with a blade, no less. So he's that minefield. Twilight trying to skip away from it while he can. Hisu has the Storm Arrow to try and clear it. Frustrating for him. Oh, wait, sorry! Dritro down? How did he find that kill? Dove able to get rid of Hopper though now. There's the Dragon Strike to the card, and Wubby's back in the fray. Here's the blade, but he's hit with the bio before he goes in. Is forced to spend the time deflecting. Chorong comes up and kicks him real hard. Dove on the flank, nice stick. That is very clean mechanics, but can't find the killers. Chorong gets the nano boost. You mentioned it, Matt. Here it is. Twilight using that ult defensively now. Where are Paris? Nowhere to be seen. With the Defiant finishing the map.
So they finished the map, which obviously, ideal for Toronto. Wasn't looking good there for a bit. But for Paris, no time in the time bank. That's huge, right? You look at Paris like, hey, we got a map completion here. You're in a good spot to potentially take map number 2 as well. I also think the Wrecking Ball is going to be way easier for them to play on defense than on offense. On offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that they managed to make it work pretty well. I just think it's very risky, obviously, playing a defensive setup that requires you to allow the enemy team onto the point, right? Because sometimes they're on the point, we have to wait a little bit extra long for a player to come back in, or something's gone wrong, and that's when they start getting ticks and capture progress, right?
They've definitely played it better than we've seen from like other teams, right? Like
Sure.
I feel like the success rate of like Wrecking Ball defense here is like not been high. And the bar may be a little low. We'll see this Chorong's POV.
Yeah. I mean, the Bionade comes in instantly, right? It's Wub and Dan that get hit by that. You can see how it sets them back in this fight. Yeah, the stick there, that was really nice from Finale. Nano. Zen really taking a bit more of a frontline role now with just how enhanced he's become.
He's enhanced Zen.
Yes.
Zen 2.0.
Yeah. They updated that firmware.
Yeah, so this will be the same type of composition from the Paris Eternal, fully expected. Like, if you're going to play that on D, like, you're going to play it on offense. Toronto goes to something very similar as well. So we'll see how this kind of plays out in that offense-defense switch.
Dove always wants to be going forward, hey. Makes a power slide up. There's always a risk of getting caught by a Tracer and accretion there. He doesn't seem to care. My God! Oh, that's nasty! He descends on Finale with the fury of 1,000 suns and gets that headshot. Playing like a frontliner, and why not? You've got 225 bloody HP. Wub in a good position there to have that deflect, and oh my. Living on the edge is Hisu. Hopper goes down. Dove cleans him off there, but still you have to respect Hisu and Chorong combo. Dove now comes back to finish the job here. Pretty clean.
Is it going to be enough to even take this? So there's going to be a Tracer around the corner, some other players coming back for Toronto. Dude, it seems like, obviously, like, I think Paris playing pretty good here today. They've also given, like, a lot of opportunities for Toronto to, like, bounce back in some of these fights, right? Like,
well, I will say
exactly
it's like,
been clean.
Right, it's like, are you giving an opportunity to Chorong to, like, pick your Genji off across the map at the start of the fight, or is he just taking it? He has been fantastic so far in this map.
This is huge, as Toronto trying to get away. Everybody's going to end up falling. Well, I mean, they forgot the cart, but now it'll get going. Should gain a little bit of progress here.
They get through the choke.
Yeah, they'll get through the choke, which is...
and they're playing against the Sigma setup, right? So I think there's definitely incentive for you to sort of leave the cart, rush the Sigma down, which is where he's weakest, then double back. You know, you get past the choke where Sigma is strongest on defense, and it's probably worthwhile in the end, even though it looks a bit weird and unintuitive. Okay, Ash for Hisu. Not a common pick here in the West. Definitely very much an APAC favorite. Let's see what he's got.
I feel like Hisu's just like vibing, just like picking whatever he feels the best in each situation. It's just
yeah,
like,
go off, King. Finally.
Yeah. Good sightlines for Ash here, especially against the Sojourn. So you see Hisu's able to pick up Dove. Ash kind of excels in those like a little bit longer range areas of the map where you play in a situation where it does, oh, we're gonna have a blade come out here.
Yep. Chorong. Takes to the runway with this Transcendence.
Like, that's not bad, though. You trade the Blade for the Transcendence when you're already down a few players.
I don't think you have a problem with that at all. However,
no,
Paris
you're Paris.
Yeah. Transcendence now and Sound Barrier into the next fight here. So this Gravitic Flux feels like it's harder to get value with, but he's just able to find a headshot on Dredro. That mobility or lack thereof that Ash suffers, though, starting to be exposed. He backs up, but Finale and Hotbar elsewhere are making short work of the Eternal. Khan falls and the Defiant stand tall.
Yeah, he felt like it was good that they got out that Transcendence with the Blade, but this next fight, they get that first pick and it's not enough. The Gravitic Flux is pretty big. It's a Transcendence that comes down as well, but just some off-angle plays from Chorong and Hisu, able to put down some big damage. I mean, Hisu just switched over to the Ashe, already going to have Bob.
Chorong playing very aggressively, Matt. 6 final blows, but 9 deaths, more than anybody else on his team. Wub is 12-7 right now as a outlier. All right, here it comes. Dub flank, playing aggressively. Who gets the short end of the railgun? Answer? Everyone.
That's 2.
Absolutely everyone.
Cyber, hello.
And you see that range, right? Where you kind of hear like the railgun and maybe think that like the effective range is like long range, but you see right how close he's able to just get those one shots on. I know Hisu and then Twilight. Hotba over to the Wrecking Ball now, so it looks like they want to commit to potentially getting a touch. They have the Bob in the mix too.
Bob's crucial, can definitely net you a free kill with that knock up. But this time Bob actually opts to set up shop a little off the cart. Cart, okay. Spin to win, done. Getting some G-forces there on the cart. Hisu just trying to connect from long range. You can see it's a little hard. Some pressure on Dub there, but he doesn't seem to mind. Now pressure on Hisu. Yep, Wub came calling. Chorong with the Transcendent, so Toronto have to use this time to regroup and push now. Hopper stalls, but has a Discord orb on him. Getting forced away.
The fight was so weird, man. As now it's going to be a Blade that comes out. It was just like so much jockeying for position, and like there was a long period of time where we saw no kills really go down, but Paris is able to take that point. Yeah, they eventually were going to be able to. As you know, we talked about how kind of Toronto finishing the map was like good for them. Like Paris now, almost 3 minutes to finish the map. They're not going to have to make any compositional changes here towards the end to do it. Now we have Hotba over to the Winston.
He is really trying to figure this out. Trying to come up with an answer. Sometimes, though, a good body grenade is as good as anything. Twilight follows up the bio hit by finishing off Wub. Still a lethal weapon. Still in his prime. So let's see what Hopper's trying to achieve here. Pressure the Zen down, most likely. He's off to the races, though, with that nano. But where does he go?
Trying to track down Wub, possibly. It's going to be a Transcendence now for Paris as they can get aggressive behind this. 2-player biotic grenade, though, to Twilight.
Hopper, though, not in a great position to capitalize. Now another Sound Barrier for the Eternal. They're digging deep. All these support ultimates, and this time, they strike gold. With the Sound Barrier, they push forward and they clean up the Defiant.
Getting closer to completing the map. You're going to get close to an overclock here, and you're going to get close to your Blade. Both teams come into this, like, no ultimates.
That card, though, awful close. The shot thrown out there by Hisu, switching back to the Sojourn. Dub trying to keep heads low on that left-hand side of the map here, with an overclock available. Ready to try and get to a safe position and play sniper for now. 90 seconds for the Eternal. Here comes the overclock. Glancing hit on Hisu, no headshot, so Hisu lives. Finale living dangerously, although he may not know it, and he walks straight into that one. Still presence on the card, though, for the Toronto Defiant here. Chorong steps up. Hisu also there. Pile driven, get a nano boost. A lot of durability there for Hisu right now, but can he find purchase? Looking for Dub. Found the ultimate, and that's a lovely connection. Hisu playing so close, so riskily, and gets away with a big kill.
I mean, they're able to keep him alive with that nano for so long as Wub holds onto the Blades. You have the Blade with the Transcendence. Combo those together if you'd like, but it's going to be Kanu takes out Finale as Finale was going in.
Now the big Zen pick. Chorong jealous. He switched over the Break about a minute ago. And then Khan's able to get away with this with the Transcendence. Hot was overextended. He tries to get back towards the card here and gets a Harmony or Bionic Grenade as well thrown at him. He's able to take a breather. Somehow Hotbar gets back into the fight, but one's going to be there with the Dragon Blade. Dove runs Finale over. It's a headshot from the Railgun, and the Mine takes the Winston down. Pressure on Twilight. He had to use the defensive Bionic Grenade on himself, but Warp can't get there. He's put to sleep. Here comes Dan. But it's Dan and Drigdro against the wall. The Eternal trying desperately to finish the round. There's 10 seconds left. Hisu stays clear of the Wrecking Ball so far. He's not locked off the map. In fact, he's sitting comfortably in this back corner. Paris are brought to their knees and to a screeching halt as the Toronto Defiant outlast the Eternal.
I mean, they were searching for answers the entire time, Toronto. Lots of switches, Hotba changing a bunch of different tanks, Hisu going to like all the DPS it felt like, but they figure something out in the end that lets them hold on barely. But man, Paris had a few times during that where they had an ultimate advantage, pretty good combo set up, just not able to execute.
Well, a little bit of awkwardness generated there from Hotbar having to switch off the Sigma. That was always the question. What happens if the Sigma plan doesn't work? You just got your answer, and it still was enough for the Toronto Defiant to even up the series. This one's interesting and a potential trap game for Toronto, so stick around. It's bound to be spicy. Well, it's an even affair here in this matchup between the Defiant and the Eternal. Nice little piece there from Twilight as we head across to Hisu. Getting the job done. Toronto really put under pressure, Matthew, but able to hold out right at the end of King's Row here. These two teams feel really evenly matched.
They do. And it's weird to say that when one team is like 500 and the other team is 1-9. But at least so far in this series, it seems like Paris Eternal playing up to the competition, where Toronto Defiant maybe thinking coming into the series taking it a little bit lightly. So for this map, this is where we expected to see the tank subs, if anything, right? We'll see none for the Paris Eternal, and then obviously none but Hoppa is in the game. So that's kind of what we expected Hoppa to be in on a map like this, because you could play some Sigma.
Right.
So we'll see if we see, I mean, you would see something similar to how we just saw in King's Row, right? Where Toronto ends up playing the Sigma play with Hoppa, and then maybe we see Dawn play the Wrecking Ball again.
Both teams have the opportunity to play their preferred, tanks on this map. You know, we saw a lot of teams play Wrecking Ball defense, offense, doesn't matter on Route 66, and Sigma's been an evergreen part of this sort of the metagame on this map for quite some time, right? Especially on defense. You control high ground, you create great positioning for your Sojourn or even your Zenyatta now to really shine and play that true kind of poke style. Or you play double sniper around it here, which I kind of like from Toronto. So a ton of different options. Twilight can obviously sort of fill any of those roles, and Chorong looks like a very solid Zen, albeit very aggressive and, you know, honestly dying quite a lot in these fights, but a lot of the time is also finding these first picks here. So fortune favors the bold in Overwatch, especially Overwatch 2, and Chorong is being a big part of that formula. Let's see if we get Zen from him again. Again, a Discord Orb mat on the Wrecking Ball, a good way to try and keep Dawn in check.
Yeah, the thing with Toronto is, like, you're winning some of these fights sometimes, but you're also losing, like, whether it's like Chorong or Finale, like trying to chase a kill there towards the end of the fight, and that kind of like spirals into the next one, which is why we see a little bit of like a just like kind of a chaotic pace, I think, to this series in particular.
Yeah, volatile, right? From both sides here, because both teams have very different game plans, and they're both trying to interrupt each other's game plan, so you end up with half a game plan from either squad. Dawn gets a Discord Orb and understands that means he needs to make himself scarce for a moment. And Hisu is trying to put a bit of pressure on Dove here.
It's going to be hard for the Wrecking Ball to make a play here. Like, where Dawn's going to come from the side. He's going to get hit with Sleep Accretion and a Biotic Grenade right away.
Yeah, he got stuck on the Bowsers as well. He saw the price, man, just couldn't believe his eyes. He was stunned for a moment. Dawn somehow was able to get away, though. All right, I'll take it. A little late, but I'll take it.
It was, yeah. You know, you've been better.
All right.
It's all right. It's again. Season, Mitch. You have time.
Oh yeah. How about playoffs, Uber? Yeah, don't you worry. I'll be there. All right. Again, look at what this comp's able to do, right? Dove is able to just wrap around here.
Space for Toronto, though. Yeah, I mean, sure, they're able to wrap around and like get this kind of angle, but like just with the Sigma and controlling the cart, they've just been able to gain so much progress for free, pretty much.
But that's what the Wrecking Ball defense does, right? You really do play on a very fine line. You give space in order to allow your team to encircle your opponents and continue to sow chaos. It pays off here, Matt. They give a lot of progress, but it pays off.
Well, I mean, how does it pay off in the sense that, like, what, they just win a fight? It may not pay off because they can just walk right back in and they don't have much for the cart to push to end up taking that first checkpoint. Now, granted, maybe it's a little bit harder to kind of like get this far up, and play from this type of position. Maybe this is where the Wrecking Ball actually, plays better with the cart in this type of position, having to come in with the objective and whatnot. But still, it's so difficult to play these Wrecking Ball defenses.
Well, you can't get as much value out of your poke comp, Matt, because you need to walk up to the cart. Hisu, though, able to find one regardless. So the tracing gets picked off as they try and make a foray. Is that Transcendence going to get there? Oh, no! Carter able to save Private Dove. The Dragon Strike ends up getting that kill there, and Hisu's going to get a nano boost of all things. So Storm Arrow's claimed Tridro. Khan was dead either way.
Yeah, as Khan uses the Transcendence, and I think in desperation, trying to get up top of Big Earls to save Dove, but we'd have to see, like, maybe he was trying to jump on the box, like, behind and get up,
maybe
and be there where it landed. Yeah, the Dragon is in the mix as well, so some extra damage coming down, but it does not work out for Paris. They end up having one defensive stand and then lose right after, so the Wrecking Ball giving up that much space to Sigma doesn't pay off.
Dove this time doesn't need to give up half the map to get a good perch on this Sojourn. Again, really has been, I'd say, filling these shoes very well. That is just, well, that's gross, but okay. Finale there, headshot. I'm talking about a high floor, Matt. This is what I mean. Effortless from Dove.
And they push them back to the door. They lose Dove, though. So can Toronto make something out of this? At least start getting the payload, you know, maybe towards like that bridge area. Just get you out of the possibility of being spawn locked inside those tunnels.
We have the poke element from the Defiant eventually claiming Dove, and that's what we mean about volatility, right? Out of nowhere you get logged. That's the Hanzo experience. Hisu pressured now, had the Storm Arrow, but healing? No. No healing. Dove able to find the finish. It's going to be a Transcendence for Chorong here. But why?
Maybe you had some pressure there from the Wrecking Ball, and you're just trying to keep everybody alive here and try and fight this, because you are trading.
I don't like it. I don't like that a lot, you know?
Why?
Well, okay, well, obviously you've already lost a play there. Hisu drops, you use the Transcendence, but the Eternal don't full commit on you, right? I think Dritro got caught up in that room, but Dan steps out, and then he knows he can roll back in, and then Paris end up cleaning them up. So that Transcendence gets used there in a short-handed scenario that Toronto can't convert into even, they can't even convert it into even footing.
Yeah, but if you're brawling like that, like what else are you gonna, like where
You're
are you
a poke
gonna get?
cop!
So, yeah, but with the Sigma, yeah, but you're inside of that room, right? And you're kind of just like fighting it out. Where is the better use of the Transcendence going to come? Like from like a minefield that comes through? Like maybe they rally and push onto you? Like,
wow.
Like at that point, like you're kind of thinking like, what are you saving the Transcendence for?
Look, I think Minefield's probably one of the best things to use it for. Or you try and match them, right? Dritro comes back with a vengeance, so great accretion here. I mean, Hotbar, you expect him to be good on that Sigma, just not good enough right now. 1 minute 13 left for Defiant. They need to come up with something, right? Twilight has a nano here, but who gets it? Chorong again?
Maybe. We could see them give it to Hisu. We've seen Hisu get it. Oh, they slept Dove.
Oh, man.
I feel like with both of these teams, whether it's like Dove or we've seen it like Finale or Chorong, like they just have one player that gets like caught out so early in some of these fights.
Got to put the nice sleep in chat. Yeah, that's Twilight for you. Let's call that for a reason. All right, Wipe snuck in though, isn't he? Chorong dismantled. Minefield, a little bit of an issue right now. The Defiant want to advance with it if they can. Defensive body grenade thrown to the ground there. Hisu top right on up, but takes a ton of damage. He gets nanoed just to keep him alive, maybe. Dance left again. Twilight is the orchestra, I guess, of all of this, but it's wiping there with a double pulse.
Yeah, and they end up using the nano on the Hisu to try and keep him alive, but in that type of scenario, like it's 3-on-4, 3-on-5, they're collapsing on you from both sides. Highly unlikely, but maybe you figured it was going to be your last attempt. Is Finale trying to get a touch?
Twilight so frustrated. He did everything he could have done in that situation. He really orchestrated a great response on Dom, but then the double pulse ruined his day. Overtime for the Defiant. What can they do? Rally and play for Dritro here that would make Khan even more of a lethal weapon. Chorong will have that Transcendence in play now, a chance to use it more effectively. And, well, again, okay, we lost the player. Better hit Q. Twilight's out of the picture here. What do they get for this Transcendence? Unclear, but Dove looking to try and finish off Finale. He's able to recall just before that rail comes in. Dodging away from it. A tough angle for Dove to navigate, but still the Eternal, they outlast.
Yeah, and the Transcendence used to keep Hotbar alive for a little bit, and then also double back, I believe, over by the gas station. I believe it was like Hisu, I think, who is taking some shots. The decent push there from the Toronto Defiant. Their point A push was good, but also, you kind of look at it this way, the point A push, it was pretty much just given up by Paris, right? Like 2 fights, the Wrecking Ball versus the Sigma. The Sigma just was able to take so much more space. Really, once you got into the area where the Wrecking Ball could be a little bit more aggressive on the high ground and try and lock inside of those chokes and come down and get big pile drivers, like dislodge him from the cart a little bit, that's when you saw the Wrecking Ball really start to pay off, and Toronto didn't make much progress after that.
Well, they were constantly disrupted, right? That's half the issue. You're playing... Twilight switched to Baptiste, but you're obviously playing around Sigma, so to some degree, you want a fairly stable approach. And the fact that they managed to find that key pick, right? Twilight has this, like, cross-map, sleep dart. They pick off Dove. They have a player advantage, but they're not really well positioned to sort of force that advantage. I mean, so this is... Yeah, it's beautiful. Dove strafes into that. And this is Dove playing, as usual, pretty darn far forward.
Yeah, there was I think Wub was up there at one point as well, but obviously made it out.
Dove always wants to try and power slide into your face, make sure he, you know, puts some pressure on you with a disruptor shot and point blank rails you. So Twilight stays on the Baptiste here, Matt.
Interesting. So they do this because they expect the dive to come through. They also bring in Chorong on the Brigitte instead of like a Zen, so less damage output overall, but a little bit more defensive. Like, you see how much there's, like, Hisu's just trying to run for his life. It looks like the support's just trying to help Hisu stay alive as long as possible, whether that be, you know, armor packs, immortality field, etc.
Look at this aggression. The Eternal have taken him a big Earls entirely, excuse me. They deny the Defiant a chance to, like, put some distance between them and the Eternal, which, as you can see, they're trying to do now, right? This really meticulous rotation from Toronto. They're determined to get value out of Hopper's Shield, out of Hisu playing at range, out of Twilight, but they can't play on cart right now. This is dangerous for the Defiant. Eventually, they have to engage.
Yeah, and the biggest thing for me is, like, sure, you can drop the Zen because you want, and maybe it's a little bit more throughput or whatnot, you know, more defensive capabilities, but to lose the Discord is massive. I mean, Discord right now is so crucial for so many teams.
Yeah, you can see why right
now. The
now.
added damage is massive, yeah.
Adan just cannot be killed. Finale constantly chasing him, just no good. A very long fight here as both teams have, I mean, decent ability to stay out of the line of fire for the most part. Dove, Wub rather comes in with that big stick, that immortality field will answer. There's a pulse here for Finale, but Hisu finds Dove. First blood finally drawn, and then the Eternal come down like a house of cards.
Such a long fight. As Paris is never able to figure out the dive target. Never able to kind of isolate one player and get somebody who's not as mobile and be able to finish that target off. We'll see if they're able to do it coming in next, but that's a lot of time off the clock, and Toronto still controls this high ground.
I mean, they're playing Zen Lucio and they don't get a kill for 45 seconds. Something probably not going right.
Yeah, and the other team's not even playing a Lucio to, like, get out of the way, right? Like, disengage.
I don't like this combat, and it's not working against the Defiant, who've built up 6 ultimates after what feels like an eternity. Over 2 minutes of play on this defense so far. And the Eternal, I mean, I guess they need a pick from Dove, I suppose. But Twilight's so annoying to deal with on this Baptiste. There's always an immortality field if there's a pulse. Finale doesn't really find anything.
You had 5 ultimates online for the Toronto Defiant. You just end up using the pulse bomb. But still, where the cart is, you kind of are thinking like 2 fights. This type of scenario where the way these things are going, this will be an Ant Matrix with an overclock that comes out from Dove. Try and counter it. This next fight may not resolve itself till like 30 seconds on the clock. This could be it.
Oh boy,
Whoa!
That was a stinker. Hisu, was that Collat off that? No,
I think it was
surely
a
not.
Collat, yeah.
What? Getting a Tracer and a Sojourn at the same time? That's unbelievable. I mean, he doesn't even look that surprised, but I mean, that is very uncommon. I think we've seen it once in APAC, maybe. Whew.
Yeah, pretty much. So both support ults here, left for the Paris Eternal. But even then, Mitch, the card has just moved backwards so much. You're probably looking at another fight even after this.
They get Chorong no first. Transcendence here for Khan. The Eternal know it's now or never, essentially. And they're able to bring Twilight down despite that immortality field in play. Twilight drops off the high ground. And the Eternal, after a bit of a tweak, bring this the Winston in. They finally get a result.
So you have the switch to Lucio Moira. Do you even need to fight this?
I don't think you do.
You've dwindled off so much clock time. Is it necessary? Hoppa coming back on the Wrecking Ball, though, tells me they're definitely going to try and go out and make an attempt.
Don't want to end the round here, for sure. Hot Baron on the Wrecking Ball. Spin to win on the cart. Keep an eye on Dove there, playing pretty far forward. And here's that sound barrier from Dredro. Support ultimates being banked up by the Eternal. It's time to see them get value. Can't under so much pressure here. Finale's trying to finish the job. Maybe this Pulse Bomb has a better destination though. Yeah, the Winston perhaps. Dun takes a big hit, but Dun's going to be there to get rid of Chorong. And where are the Defiant? Down to 3. Hotbus in better days as well. And it looks like the Paris Eternal are going to be able to push through, winning 2 fights in a row. And they'll get that checkpoint, Matt.
So here, so you obviously made a pretty strong attempt there from the Toronto Defiant. Do you stay on this composition? With Hotbon, the Wrecking Ball, and then the... Because this is kind of what lost you, you lost with on Ilios. A little bit of a different variation in terms of DPS, but still. Lucio Moira with the ball is, yeah, they were running like Tracer Sombra, right? But
I think it's awkward to play when your ball is probably going to get a lot of attention, a lot of pressure, right? Hotbon with a Discord orb on him here.
And they're playing the Zen, yeah.
I think it's fine if the Defiant can actually just isolate Khan really early into the fight. Or Hisu just finds a random kill. That's also fine, but the Defiant had to play aggressively as defenders here with their setup. Hisu on one, but Chorong's down. Both the Sojourns are the ones headlining here, and you can see how annoying it is to play against Wrecking Ball with an extra 36% knockback after that change. It's pretty nasty.
Yeah, the thing that's scary about this composition as well for Toronto is you have to play so close together and so aggressive to get value out of it with the Lucio and the Moira in terms of your supports. That it's just dangerous, right? There's just, when they're in the, you're kind of thinking melee versus range, right? But when you're almost melee type area, there's just way more that can go wrong, especially with insta-kill type of scenarios like railguns in the mix.
Defensive disruptor shot there from Hisu. The Defiant would like to get out here if they can, but Darn's standing in their way, and Khan lines up finale. Dove, need to see something from him here, something maybe a little special as the Coalescence comes in. He's getting the hose down, but the Transcendence healing kept keep him in the fight. Wipe was hoping to get to Twilight before the Coalescence ended, so a guaranteed pulse kill would have been there, but can't even connect the bomb. The Eternal need to keep it together right now. They're starting to miss some of these key moments, and the Defiant has a sound barrier. Both support ultimates used by the Defiant, but here comes Dridro with the rally. It's Twilight finding Khan first. He's looking healthy, getting a bit of space now as the healing comes in from the Moira from the low ground, but Dridro finds 2. He got both backliners. Dridro's looking to try and carry the Eternal, kicking and screaming over the lane here, and he looks like he's done it. There's nothing flashy about these games, but the Eternal come out on top in another slugfest map.
And right there, the Toronto Defiant, they tried to push into that small room, pretty much where the payload needed to go. And as they pushed in, they probably thought they had the advantage because they used sound barrier. The Rally was in the mix. Rally comes out, Dritcho doing, tons of other healing as well on the brig, just swinging for the fences. And that gets him over the line.
Pretty intense stuff from both these teams, the kind of series that really start to test you mentally. Let's see which team has greater stamina as the Defiant now are hoping to push this all the way to a map 5. They're going to have to. Map number 4 looms around the corner. match we've got to serve up to you here, ladies and gentlemen. Two teams playing their unique styles, both refusing to give an inch. It results in a lot of very close maps. Kings Row, Route 66, both coming down to essentially the last fight here, but it's Paris that comes out in the lead here. Obviously, disappointing result at the end of 66, but they bounce back. And now we're headed to New Queen Street.
Yeah, in Paris, the Paris could be kicking themselves a little bit because this actually could have been a 3-0 in their favor, right? I know finishing out Kings Row, I believe Toronto didn't have any time in the time bank, right? Like you would have had an opportunity to win it there. And if you're Toronto, you just got to be happy you're still in this series, right? To kind of have Paris come in and play the way they're playing today, and still be alive in this matchup with how you've kind of been playing at some points, is huge. As Muse will come in for Hotba here for New Queen Street.
Okay, so mix up here now for the Defiant, and again a few options with Muse coming in. Again, feels like the Doomfist is the most likely of those here. Regardless, something that we probably won't see mirroring from the Eternal. No Vistola.
I was going to say no Vistola today at all.
It's just Wrecking Ball all the way for this Eternal team, and I kind of like it, right? The Shock are doing something kind of similar. We saw a ton of Mikey today, although he wasn't always playing Wrecking Ball. He didn't really leave his seat. So a shift, perhaps, Matthew, towards much more Wrecking Ball representation. And hey, he didn't really have his damage buffed. It's just that disruption has really been taken up to 11 from that hero.
Yeah, and I think also with some of the backlines, I think the pile drive with the knock-up, but then the adaptive shielding definitely helps him a bit. So we'll see as we move into New Queen Street what we get from both teams. Like the benefit for Paris is like, if you wanted to play like a Reinhardt or a Winston, like you don't have to make any subs with Dot, who's just playing the Wrecking Ball. With Toronto, it seems like they do want to make some changes with those types of things happen. Although we have seen Hoppa now play like Reinhardt, we've seen him play the Winston, we've seen him play a lot of stuff. So not sure if like that's necessarily the case, because you kind of think traditionally is like Muse is a main tank and Hotba is an off tank, but
right.
Things obviously changing coming into Overwatch 2 is Muse, looks like they bring him in to play Doom.
Yeah, once more. I think that's his best hero right now, honestly, which is maybe less expected, but he's just taken to the style of Doom with aplomb. For the Eternal, it's still a Wrecking Ball, right? So they really do want to stick to this kind of setup. Again, somewhat different looks here with Khan obviously on the Zen versus the Ana. Bit of variation here amongst these compositions. It's going to be fun to sort of track that as this round goes, Matt.
I was going to say, fighting for this high ground here by the statue, you have to be careful with the knockback, right?
Absolutely. Wrecking Ball a menace with environmental kill potential. Well, a lot of people got caught in that pile driver, I must say. Darn still looking very healthy.
And that's where the adaptive shields come in huge. I don't know if you were it's really kind of, it comes in fast, so it's like tough to catch. But when Don ends up using the adaptive shield, he gets like a max one, and his HP goes up above 850.
Yes.
And that obviously he has like a Harmony Orb and other healing around him. Very difficult to take out, especially when the other team has not been running a Zen. Like, they haven't been running a Zen like the entire series pretty much.
Yeah, what do? You sleep and buy the ball, and then he just walks away, rolls away rather. Now you have an indicator as well on your targeting reticle, Matt, where you can see how much of a shield you're going to get based on the number of sort of enemies in proximity. So even easier for Wrecking Ball to secure that extra little bit of durability when you want to go aggressive. However, the Defiant able to sort of bounce back pretty quickly here, seeding about 33, so it's a decent early push for Paris.
Not much. Yeah, I mean, it's not much.
It's up to the hairpin.
We'll see Dove now has the overclock. I imagine you try and pop this and get a fight back by the bot.
Who is Finale looking for? Khan, perhaps? Dove gets easy. Finale knows he has to act quickly, but he runs straight into the Wrecking Ball now. Now on Dove.
And they nanoed Muse there too.
Sorry, sorry. Dove didn't get nano. Excuse me. It was Muse. What does he get with that?
So split. The supports are over here on this side, and in the bot is moving all the way around on the other side. Everybody just split on both sides of the map there. for the Toronto Defiant, especially when you have the supports with no line of sight to any of the other DPS players. Like when you're about like halfway through a fight, very difficult to keep people alive, especially with two healers who rely on like line of sight, right?
And they took the bot midway through the fight, which means that as soon as they came back to the bot, they were already back to where they had last pushed to. News can't get away with that one. No amount of power blocking is going to protect it from the pulse stuck there. Wipe controlling Finale now. That checkpoint comes up for the Paris Eternal. Should have that easily enough.
You'll even get past that straight away. So Transcendence, Sound Barrier available. See how much they want to invest. That's a Biotic Grenade. You're going to have Con end up using the Transcendence towards the end of it. So you still want to try and get more progress here for your Paris.
Yeah, that's a little surprising, I think, especially after losing Dove at the start of the fight. You'd think that maybe Paris would just concede.
Well, they had the close spawn, so maybe they felt like if they could like elongate that fight there at that moment in time, you actually could have fought again rather close.
Khan taken down here by Finale. Dunn tries to make a big pile driver play, but it's put to sleep instantly. And okay, even with that Discord orb, you can work the Wrecking Ball down. You just need everybody working together.
Yeah, it takes a bit. I'm not able to charge up a power punch here. So now you've gained significant progress if you're the Paris Eternal, right? 67 meters. Because especially they stop here to take that checkpoint, so it's pretty significant.
Finale flanking again, but it's a sound barrier now deployed by Drito that really gets in his way. So much so that Khan can shrug off the attention of Tracer and still find a kill. The pulse bomb on Dove was nice from Finale, but he's a little low on health. Kisu also under a ton of pressure, and Khan just beams him.
Yeah, and that was during a nano as well, as Hisu had the effects of the nano boost, so you get Twilight towards the end here. So this is where you can make even more progress if you're the Paris Eternal. Toronto Defiant will come back. They just pretty much use everything there in those fights. You'll have a Minefield, your Overclock, and Transcendence most likely. A crazy combination of ultimates that you see they're going to get that first checkpoint straight away, and they're going to start to move this around the corner. Minefield would be massive around this area.
Pulse there. Wipe got Chorong with it. That's huge. No more Brigitte. And Wipe now can just circle back around to the bot here. Maybe thinking a bit more about Finale once again. Stan goes, right, we're going to clear this room here, try and get through, but they don't account for Kisu. How can you? He takes Khan's head clean off there. Dan, wow, the amount of damage is just unreal there. Hisu's able to finish off the Wrecking Ball. Coming alive once more. We know this guy really scary on this Sojourn.
Yeah, Don looked like he was trying to grapple up and try and get some more height and go for like a minefield play, but just was not able to get it lined up. So now we have Twilight on the Zen. This is what I've wanted to see throughout the entire series. This guy was an MVP candidate, you know, as a flex support. Like what, 2 seasons ago at this point, right? 3 seasons ago? That time just goes by. 3 seasons ago, but still, like, he was phenomenal on these heroes, especially even when he was on the Shock, right? Not an MVP candidate, but still incredible. Yeah. And we've seen him really just play like a little bit of the Ana in this series, but like Moira and no other heroes that he can't really have a huge, huge game-changing impact on.
Hisu finally realizing that. Oh no! Yeah, he can't believe it. That's an ankle snapper, Matt. If I've ever seen one.
He gave him the wiggle there.
Oh my. Okay, this is getting a little out of hand now. This is where the Defiant make their comeback.
Checkpoint. Yeah, you'll get this first checkpoint. It's going to stop here for a bit, though. That's where maybe Paris can take their next fight.
Say it.
What?
Why is the bot stopping?
He's going to take that checkpoint.
You're no fun. Hisu from the back line here with the overclock, just pressuring Dan down with the Discord orb on him. Yeah, that really leaves a mark. Dan was almost able to walk away, but Finale made sure he met the Wrecking Ball as he approached. And there's that checkpoint. Iconic moment. Ah, there it is. You knew what I was saying.
No, I wasn't. Well, I wasn't really listening to you, to be honest. I was more focused on the game, yeah.
Imagine my shot. Right here with the Discord.
Is Paris going to give this like a game up, by the way?
I don't know.
Like the way that they're playing right now, it looks like it.
Nah, they're pushing back now. This is good. They force Transcendence here. And they disengage for free. If Khan survives here, kick him. All right. Khan survives here and they get Chorong, so this is perfect for Paris. And also, Conversely, pretty bad for Toronto when they lose that Transcendence. Dreedro gets in there. It's a 3v3 right now.
Another kill?
A lot rests on Finale here. Oh, okay. Or Hisu just bails him out of trouble. Nicely done. Toronto really down to brawl out.
Look at what happens when you put Twilight on this end with a Discord orb. They've started to just move the bot so fast.
Getting rocked.
Yeah.
Hisu was killing Don without his end.
It's so much extra added damage, and you see how Don immediately gets the Discord orb on him, quite low.
Hisu is popping off. He is absolutely standing up now. That's another one from him. The rails just don't stop coming. Don! Yeah. Can't flatten Don.
Damage boost too.
Let's keep it up.
Oh, man. Now the Defiant are in the lead with 2 minutes left in the round. Quite the comeback. After being like, what, 17 plays 60? The Sojourn of Hisu starting to heat up to hitherto unforeseen levels.
And he's gonna have this overclock, you know, a kill or two, and that can seal the deal. We could have a map completion here.
That would be bonkers. Dove there definitely maybe in his own head after that engagement with Hisu went awry, because Hisu's found yet another rail connection on towards Wipe here. Dove has to do something huge here, but the Doomfist is coming to call. Punch doesn't quite connect. Powerbox going to be in his face. Dove goes for the ultimate, and he is tilting, Matt. He is absolutely tilting.
Oh, and if you start moving the bot closer towards the end, you're going to have a Transcendence to fight here. Right at the end of the map, Dove is going to switch over to the Genji. Now he's going to go over to the Ashe here, try and maybe get a longer sight line.
Here's the rally from Chorong. Twilight now looking like a beast with a bit of an overshield, but it's going to be Dreedro to strike first. Muse goes a little too far. He's just trying to play safely. With Khan's Transcendence afoot, hard to make those rail kills connect, but he's looking for Khan now. Shield in the way, doesn't matter, doesn't care. Headshot there as Dreedro finally gets the response. Finale on the bot here, but it's a 1 versus 2 and a chance for Paris to at least take a breath. My God, that was looking dire.
It was absolutely dire, and in the clutch, a game point for the Paris Eternal. Things not looking good. 2-3 minutes on the clock. Toronto, they make a change, and they battle back here. Like you mentioned, it was like 82 meters to like 17, and they've blown the door open now.
The Eternal need to get in a position, at least get this bot back to neutral if possible, but right now they're just getting stuffed inside their Jack in a Box. Here's the Transcendence at play now. Toronto want to go forward. Bomb on the shield, though that's not going to bother Dreedro. However, the whip shot from Chorong definitely going to cause him some issues. Dove finds a rail, finally. Feels like an eternity since he's been able to get himself onto the right side of the kill feed, but Muse is instantly going to find Khan. But in the hands of the Defiant, as the Eternal, oh my God, it's such a hike to try and get back into this game, and it's insurmountable odds, Matthew. That is that. Wrecking Ball on the point now, minefield thrown down around the bot, Chorong able to shield bash away, but the Defiant don't care. They're in overtime. They're going to push all the way in Paris. What a capitulation. That is mental boom playing out in front of you.
Paris, they were close to winning King's Row. They had like a 70-meter advantage here, and they blow both of those maps. And now that gets us to a Game 5 where Toronto, I'd love to see them run some stuff like this in the Game 5, right? You can play some of the Doomfist, keep Twilight on the Zen, that extra damage, just helping Hisu go over the top with those railguns.
Twilight's so important, right? That flexibility really taking Toronto to the next level, and Hisu pops off like only he can on that Sojourn sometimes. This had to be a map 5. There was no other way for this to end, so don't go anywhere. The Defiant and the Eternal are taking it all the way. Welcome back to the Overwatch League, ladies and gentlemen. Your resident Paris Eternal casters, Mitch Leslie, Matt Morello, reporting in for this map 5. Toronto take it all the way in that last round there on New Queen Street. And I've got to say, Hisu is just going off. 62 final blows, 32 deaths for the series. The next closest player on his team is Finale at 32.
Yeah.
This is an insane performance.
Yeah, Hisu's been sick all series long, even in the losses for the Toronto Defiant. Can they just put it together for this final map? This series is massive. And not as much, really, right, for Paris Eternal, although you're still kind of playing towards the end of their season. But for Toronto, right, I mean, trying to, you know, trying to actually kind of like get towards Midseason Madness and whatnot, and qualify for that tournament, it's huge.
No doubt about it. I mean, a chance to continue to sort of iterate on the current metagame that we're seeing the Defiant in, which kind of involves Muse being really solid on the Doomfist and Hisu just being disgusting. There's opportunities here for a run for this roster. Right now, obviously, 5-5 is such a bone-hurtingly Toronto scoreline to have at this part of the series. Very, very standard for them. But again, you know, you know, we talk about how they often go 500 over a long season, but it's really when it comes to those tournaments, that's when they have the chance to make an impact, right? They just didn't really do that through our sort of kickoff clash. They're hoping for a deeper run and not that sort of elimination early on.
So as we get into Oasis, I would love to see them play Twilight on the Zen again, like the Zen Brig backline like we just saw. I think the Zen was definitely, it makes Don's like life way harder where he's not able to just stay in. Like how many times before then did we see like Don just be able to like stay inside, like, you know, 3-4 members of Toronto for a very long time? Was not able to do that.
So what's it going to be for the Paris Eternal now? I feel like they're comfortable enough they can probably just keep playing the Wrecking Ball stuff, right? I mean, seems like as good a time as any to have Genji have Doom/Wrecking Ball here. Muse the Doomfist being hovered earlier on. What are we going to get from Twilight, right?
Right. I mean, I want to see them play the Zen. I think the Zen just it provides so much for this team. I also think it gives Paris trouble. So we'll see. That's what it looks like right now. It's Paris Eternal looking to maybe have Khan on the Ana here. So Khan on the Ana and Don on the Doom. So slight changes here. Not going to be playing that Wrecking Ball.
Right, I mean, look, Sleep Dart's still the antithesis to Doomfist's power block, right? So can't probably expecting to see this from Muse. Twilight maybe not so much, right? But he can really sort of go anywhere. Actually insane flexible plays in this matchup, there's no doubt about that. Hisu wants to try and make the wraparound early, but yep, Sleep Dart's here from everybody. Choron getting caught by that one.
So it'll be Paris who takes the point first, is able to deal with Finale, and that's really about it. Toronto just kind of like backs up after that. So
they lost Muse so early, right?
Yeah. What do you think about how in the so the Brig versus the Lucio is interesting? Like you've seen teams play like Lucio Zen.
Oh,
so that's huge there coming in from Don. So the reason I say that is because like Paris with the Lucio can engage pretty fast, or they can back out pretty fast. It could be difficult for Toronto to get high value out of the Brig, but as I say that, Toronto battles back, gets onto the point, and flips it.
Well, that's a fair point, I think, dealing with you know, less of an all-in setup here. Done. I mean, people are still underestimating what power block can do if you can connect that punch, right? The multi-stun, the damage from that is really quite fearsome. Now that Defiant get to put Hisu in maybe a slightly safer position, but Wub straight up to the high ground already, so he's on a flank. Dart opens up the fight with another elimination here on Twilight. Paris are getting so much value out of this Doomfist dive.
Oh, nice shot from Hisu there. He gets taken out by Khan right away.
Done under pressure here.
These two teams today, Mitch, this is just evolved. I feel like it's so fast-paced and all over the place.
Yeah, it's messy. Like, it's really not clean. There's not really a specific flowchart that's happening. In fact, a lot of these fights going down to like 2v2s, 3v3s at, you know, at best. see Finale trying to chase Wub here. And if you're at home maybe feeling like it's been hard to keep track of this series, it's not just you. Like, it generally, that's how these games have played out. A lot of volatility, especially when there was like a wrecking ball involved. A lot of different things to be watching right now. Down to the high ground, Discord Orb, he doesn't care. He gets thrown in there with a nano boost. Doesn't quite connect that punch though, and now he's sort of caught out in the open. Wants to pressure on towards Muse, who has his power block interrupted. Dan really knows what he's doing there. He knew exactly when to throw that non-charged punch in to interrupt. Whip shot there, knocks Dan backwards. It doesn't matter though, because Dan and Wub have already struck a critical blow.
Yeah, I think the thing was is that when Muse was hit with that biotic grenade, there was no way to keep him alive at a distance as he's trying to be the disruptor for the Defiant, the Paris side of the map. So once he falls, that's really just about it. Everything kind of crumbles after that, but I think Toronto's in a good spot, man. 4 ultimates coming online. Paris had to use everything there to flip that point back. You know, even if you can just get by with using a pulse bomb here, like if Finale's able to connect with one, get a kill, maybe save something else, it'd be massive.
Here's that rally from Chorong. Keep an eye on Khan here. This is where Ana gets deadly when there's not a lot of pressure on her. Dan can't say the same though. Hisu eventually able to bring him down. Nice rail vertical from Dove. Finds Hisu. Pressure on Muse now, who's had a quieter round in the Doomfist by comparison to Dan. The Defiant now, it's equal scoreline. Toronto had to think a little bit deeper. They want to get this fight done, but that's through Transcendence, and Finale disintegrates under the orbital strike lance of Dove. And Paris comes out on top through that Transcendence, no less. That's a backbreaker.
Paris Eternal. I mentioned Toronto had like all their ultimates going in here. Is the support's trying to battle out Hisu, where you're going to be able to take him out, but Toronto had like all their ultimates pretty much going into that fight. Paris had nothing. It looks like Paris might be able to come out on top, get an OT.
He just thought he had Chorong, but now he's in trouble here with the body grenade, and he has to get out, but Dan will chase. You better believe it. Muse gets caught. Dan takes him down. And he has a meteor strike as well to come back into the fight with, or to get out. He can play extra aggressive, and that's just what the Eternal need right now. A little bit more pepper, a little bit more spring in their step, and look at Hisu clinging to life on the high ground. It would be Wub, it would have been a Doomfist either way. It would have been his demise, and Paris get the first round here. They match the Doomfist unexpectedly here, as we saw Twilight on the Ana, but on this end. And Dan looks incredible.
Yeah, no, I believe it was Dove who comes back on the Reaper at the end, just trying to clean up some kills. So, match point here on Oasis for the Paris Eternal. I think they're going to run with the same thing again. It looks like Twilight and Toronto, they just want to mirror it. They want to ditch the Zen and probably just go with the exact same composition as Paris. We'll see. I mean, Paris has played this quite well thus far.
Wub's been having a great series so far, Matt.
Yeah.
Man, one of his best since joining this Paris Eternal team. Twilight now no fool. He's on the Ana straight out of the gates this time. So what a way to end it potentially. Mirrored setups. Hisu found Dove. Just the last little bit of that disruptor shot. Claiming the enemy sojourn. Chorong trying to get his bearings here in the middle of a very messy fight, but it's going to be Twilight to strike next. Good opening for Toronto. Just what they needed.
They needed something to go their way. You lose that first round, you start off this next one, and let's say Paris gets like first blood in a fight like that, things start to spiral out of control in terms of like, you know, confidence, kind of almost knowing, like seeing the inevitable what's in front of you.
Bayonet on Wub here.
It's 5 players there that Twilight hits.
That is so hard to do. People are spaced so much more in this game, and the body grenade, it's not a big radius as you actually think it is. That's devastating stuff from Twilight. It resulted in an insta-kill, and everyone on the Eternal just ran away. In that case, it may as well be a bloody ultimate ability. That's how impactful it was.
Yeah, so you can see from Twilight's POV here is he's able to get one heal up top.
I mean, he's a guy. This guy's, yeah, pretty astounding on this Toronto team. Him and Hisu, when they can fire, even when Muse is having a quieter game like he is today, I feel, those two really give you some serious firepower.
I mean, Muse has had a little bit of a quieter match. We saw Hoppa for 2 games, but Hisu's not really leaving much out there for anybody else to pick up.
And I think the Defiant are quite happy with that, just the way they like it. Hisu found that headshot on Dan. This is a bit of a shutout so far, 60% to 0. Nano boost here. for Muse to play a little more risky. Perhaps Khan will have one as well.
Yeah, this has been dominant for the Toronto Defiant here. So Paris has really got nothing going on.
And that looks like to be remaining the same, Matt, because Muse gets in there. With that nano, as we kind of projected, stunning opening. Can't able to find a sleep dart on the Doomfist, but they don't have the ability to actually dispatch the enemy tank. So he picks himself back up, and the Toronto get back to business. And business, Matt, is good.
Yes, Jesus got the overclock. It may not even be necessary with how they're playing. They may not even get towards the point, or really close to it, as Don's got the meteor strike. Potentially he's going to have to, nope, he's going to just get on, load up a punch. Now he's going to back off, trying to help some teammates.
He's, oh my wub! Take it down again, Hisu. Uncanny with those headshots. Yet another one there. The sound barrier, the only thing keeping his target alive that time. Duff with a bionic grenade here. Don doubles back to get rid of Muse, and this is where the Eternal can get back into the round. What a way it would have been for Hisu if it ended it there. Oh man, I'm getting a little excited now.
Ugh. Dude, Hisu has played lights out, regardless of how this series ends for Toronto. He has just been unreal. Like, I don't think I'd be speaking incorrectly if I said he's been the best player in the server today, regardless of team. He has been unbelievable.
Finally, the prince that was promised. We heard about this 2 years ago now, I think, that he was the future. Didn't pan out on Philadelphia, that's for sure, but here, it's a different story. Toronto look like they're going to be looking to get back in control momentarily. Eventually, Dredro is extricated from the point of the Defiant back in control. Now it's overtime. I hear that from Dove. He tries to make the play, but again, he's brought down by Hisu's rail. Stick on the Doom. Dan doesn't know what hit him. And that's about that now. Obviously, nano boost from Khan to try and keep Wub alive, but he's very, very low. Pulse might be a difference maker, though. Muse gets rid of the offending Ana, though. That should do it here. The Toronto Defiant say, no, we're going to take this all the way. Time for round 3 of Oasis.
And on, you know, this next round coming up, do we see the Wrecking Ball come back into play? We've seen the Doomfist on this map, yes, like exclusively from both teams, but
I would like to see Dan play it, but he looks so good on Doom in that first round.
Yeah.
Now you feel confident in either approach from him.
So let's see what Paris. Yeah, Paris. Yeah. So this is something that they were running earlier with the Lucio, the Zen, and the Ball. So that's what they're going to come out with here. I assume
I think this is
probably plays the Sojourn after this.
This might be a fitting end to me.
The Moira.
Didn't we see that on Ilios? And
oh, it felt now back to the Zen. Okay.
Yeah, I remember like they had Moira Lucio with the ball comp, and they didn't get a kill for like a minute and a half.
And they're going to ditch the Sojourn. And they're going to play really aggressive here with the Echo, the Tracer, the Ball, and the Zen.
So Finale's job now changes, right? Now he needs to look towards Wub whenever he can, and just keep pressure on the Echo, excuse me. Because the Echo requires to be healed, but there's not a lot of burst healing from Dredro and Khan in this composition, so, you know, it's a little bit hard for Wub to get into the fight if he's constantly taking chip damage.
Yeah, and for Paris, you can put a lot of pressure on the Hisu, right? The Discord, you know, players coming at him from the sky as Muse gets quite low there, and they're able to get the kill. They're going to trade out Wub for it.
Yeah, Finale, like, he knows what the assignment is there. As soon as Wub tries to focus the target, Finale just locks him down. This is scary, though. He's not getting away with that. Khan absolutely rocked his world, man.
He tried to get creative. I know, hide for a second, but point still does not sit in favor of anybody here. Both teams still just kind of like jockeying back and forth for this position, but Paris is going to come out with the point first.
Ever since the inception of this map in the league, Matt, we've seen some incredible map 5, round 3 moments on Oasis. Most of them involved Boston and London in that first year, but still, had great plays for many, many years here. Fitting to see it go this far. Dan's Wrecking Ball, the proof of concept that his preferred style works out against the Doomfist, and Chorong will be deflected.
And I also think it's quite fortunate for Paris that, you know, Oasis is this final map, right, in the pool for today, because the Wrecking Ball plays great here. You can also play like Zen on this point. Oh, just barely got him. Look at this. This is good with the minefield, though. Yeah.
This is what you wanted to see. It's what you said they were going to do. Play aggressive. Get behind this Echo, this Wrecking Ball. Finale with the Tracer duel though, that Transcendence has now expired. Things get a little scarier from here on out for the Paris Eternal, but Muse tried to get away to safety there with that Meteor Strike, and he's able to get back to his backline. Dridro punished for trying to pursue, but there's not really much to scare down in terms of raw damage. That would have been classy from Finale. Unfortunately, Pulse Bomb goes awry in midair. Looking to hunt down the Echo. My God, the pressure is real. How did Khan fall amidst all that? Finale didn't even look like he was looking at him.
Now, Khan was really low, but Dridro's going to come in with a sound barrier, and they want to keep this rolling. And with how this point works, Mitch, Paris could actually get this up to 99. It's not unrealistic.
It's happened before, Matt. Kisu, though, able to find some big rail connections. That one on the Wub. This time, Dridro, a headshot wasn't even necessary, but it'll take style points. The ball stalling. And this is the problem with Twilight playing the Ana, right? We saw when they switched on New Queen Street, brought the Zen in, a lot more pressure, a lot more ability to keep Darn quiet. Twilight, though, doesn't look like he's inclined to make that switch, and it's 91 plays 1.
So you're like one fight away here for the Paris Eternal. You'll have a duplicate coming up here, and you'll have your Pulse Bomb. And Toronto's fighting with nothing yet again. I mean, we've seen it have to happen a few times during this series where Toronto has to dump everything they got to win a fight. So, oh, is that what he wanted? He's Lucio now.
We may never know, Matthew. Dove loses out again to Finale. He cannot win that Tracer duel this round. What on the Lucio? Gets, well, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Khan is at least able to find that enemy Tracer that's been harassing him so much, but he has to fall. The dive eventually prevails onto the back line of the Eternal, and the Defiant are going to extend their capture time.
And that is, you do not want the Lucio there in that situation, as Wub's going to switch over to Sombra.
Sombra?
I think he wanted the Sojourn, like, up on the high ground, and I think maybe, like, Charog just jumped right in front and got him, but that's unfortunate. Is
that a hacked health pack? No. He opted not to hack the health pack. Instead, opting for Muse, who knocks him out of his invisibility, and off we go. Meteor Strike. Ooh, translocate forced there. I like that. Plucky stuff from Muse. Into the back line it goes, and Dove flattened against the wall, nothing but a smear. This is looking a little bit dangerous now for the Paris Eternal. The Defiant firmly in the saddle, and Wub with no way to escape.
So, man, Paris, like, dude, like when Paris needs to be clutched in moments throughout this series, like they've now come through in these like game on the line scenarios. They just need to come through one time here to flip that point back. But this will be the last fight for both teams. Toronto, an opportunity to win the series here as well.
Transcendence up for Khan. It's going to have to be now. Dove also kept a Pulse Bomb going into this fight, but he's just looking to end things before it begins. The rail that could have been, oh my. No connection there, but many more opportunities will present themselves in this fight. Here comes Khan with the Transcendence. Now Dove ruminating, thinking about this Pulse Bomb. It's a stick. It's good. Twilight goes down, but he's got to respond immediately. Now we have a 4v4. Chorong on this Lucio, trying to keep Hisu well protected throughout this ultimate, keep him out of traffic, and so he does. He looks both ways. Hisu survives and brings Dridro down. The Eternal are down to 2 players on the point. It's Wub, it's Darn, and that's about it. The Sombra trying to stay alive, and the Wrecking Ball wants to try and pressure Hisu if possible, but that rail's ready to go. Dove gets rid of Finale. Finally, he wins the Tracer duel. Finally, Hisu gets rid of the Wrecking Ball, though, and Wub needs to go further. Dove also needs to continue to extend his presence on this point. The Defiant are still in control. We're still in this overtime now. Khan coming back here, having switched over towards the Ana, anticipating a longer fight, but Dove can't get away. He still wants to play from the fringes of the fight, and Muse drops in. There it is. Dove is removed. He can't get away. Sound barrier for Dridro. Only 2 players to benefit from it. It's him and Khan. Wrecking Ball's going to be there, but Darn didn't get the overshield, and now all eyes turn towards him. Finale has a Pulse Bomb. Does he let it go right now? He won't have to. Khan drops in, stuck immediately, and that is about that. Dove is removed, and the Defiant have done it. Heartbreak City for Paris.
It is Heartbreak City, as Paris was so close to taking this series. So, you know, if you're Toronto, I don't think I would be like happy. I would be more relieved, because this is one where you barely get by in a match you absolutely needed, as Paris definitely brought it today.
Devastating moment for the Paris Eternal, but for Toronto, this is huge for them. I mean, maybe you would have predicted there's a bit of an element of a trap game coming into this, right? Oh, look, you know, the Paris Eternal really starting to build up ahead of steam, and we're still a little uncertain. But Hisu, Muse, Twilight especially, these three players standing up. Finale keeping Dove so quiet for so much of that last round. All of that adds up to such a key victory. You can see Muse here chewing the nail. He realizes it was a very, very close one. And for Toronto, look, it's a win's a win, but I don't know if you could walk away from a game against a 1-9 team, a 1-10 now, with it being so close, feeling that satisfied.
Especially when, like, Kings Row, they were setting a better pace than you. I know a few other maps went down to the wire. I know New Queen Street was really close. Yeah, a lot of maps where Paris either won or was in the lead late.
It's a kind of match where you don't bring anything back with you. You leave it all out there, Matt. Player of the match here, I think it's pretty safe. You alluded to it in that previous round as well for the Toronto Defiant. It's going to be this man on your screen, Hisu. I kind of hinted at it, like he had more than double the final blows of anyone else on his team at one point. The Sojourn play, I mean, Hisu was not the first name we thought of when we sort of considered how impactful Sojourn would be in the right hands. But I'm glad to be proven wrong in that regard. He's looked stellar this series.
He's been really pretty strong all season. Just having him in some positions that don't suit him the best, but when you see him on the Sojourn, man, able to hit so many rails at key moments, and not even just like picking off one player range. A lot of times you see him in the feed, it's 2-3 players at a time.
He's just someone who's played so many of these picks like Soldier, Sombra for much of his time in the past. 14.2 final blows. I want you to let that sink in. Right now in 5v5, I think, as this is made pretty clear, 10 final blows is insane. So this is something else entirely. More than 50% of those railguns are connecting. The skill expression on Sojourn allows someone like Hisu to finally take the spotlight. What we now need to see is the Toronto Defiant convert on that with consistency.
Absolutely. And I think you see when Muse was on the Doomfist and even Twilight, whether it was like the Honor or the Zen, they started to put it together. They started to look good there towards the end, but still a little bit too close for my liking, especially against a team like Paris. No disrespect to Paris, but they're 1-10. And if you're Toronto and you're aspiring to be top 8, top 6, kind of push that placement, you got to blow teams out like that. Where Paris came in, they played a great game today.
Yeah, one of the most sort of drawn out, one of the messiest games I think I've seen, but both of these teams really throwing it all in there, which is what you love to see. I'm very curious to see what our desk has to say about this one. I think no one predicted the Paris Eternals, so the fact that they came so close should be a great conversation starter. I'm keen to hear what they have to say, and of course their interview after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to the Watch Point Post Show, everybody. We're here joined now by Finale from Toronto. Defiant. Finale, congratulations on the win now. This really went all the way, but at the end, it was the Toronto Defiant clutching out the win. How'd you guys get it done? 자, 일단 오늘 승리 너무 축하드리고 진짜 끝까지 되게 긴장감을 놓칠 수 없는 경기였던 것 같습니다. 피나 선수 어떻게 해서 오늘 승리 거두시게 되셨나요?
일단 경기가 좀 많이 길어졌는데 생각했던 것보다 비해 처음에는 이제 소통이 기존의 대회나 스크림 했을 때보다 안 돼서 좀 게임 내용적으로나 팀워크적으로나 부족했는데 경기 중간에 저희끼리 피드백하면서 좋은 결과가 나온 것 같습니다.
All right. I mean, it was definitely a longer than expected game for everyone. I think there were some communication errors happening and that sort of showed in our teamwork and also our individual gameplays as well. But as the game went on, we sort of ironed out those errors and we corrected those mistakes that we made, and I think that's how we clutched out the win. Another question for you, Finale, is my personal opinion is that compared to the beginning of the mid-season madness, where you guys sort of used a lot of the Winston dive, now you guys have a lot of different looks. Depending on whether it's map or different situations, whether it's Doomfist or the Winston dive, like I said, or even the Sigma composition as well. With everything, sort of in the current situation right now, with all those different looks, would you say that you guys are sort of more comfortable and confident right now than compared to before? 자, 두 번째 질문은 이제 제가 제 개인적인 생각으로 봤을 때는 이제 이번 스테이지 초반에는 좀 이제 토론토 팀이 조금 더 윈스턴 다이브 조합을 많이 기용하는 팀이었는데 요즘 들어서 좀 많이 바뀐 것 같아요. 이제 상황에 대처를 잘 하고 좀 상황을 봐서 좀 많은 조합들을 다양한 조합들을 많이 좀 사용하시는 것 같은데 그거 어떻게 보면 그걸로 인해서 조금 더 경기에 임하실 때 조금 더 자신감이 생기시나요?
1주차에는 이제 손보라 에코 조합으로 이제 좋게 나오지 않았는데 저희 팀에 맞는 조합과 이제 선수들이 자신 있는 팀편들을 기용하면서 이제 스크림으로나 대회에서 그 전보다 플레이의 자신감과 경기 내용적으로는 더 좋은 것 같습니다.
All right. I mean, first week of the stage, I do feel like we were using a lot of Sombra Echo compositions and things that really didn't work out for our team. But as the stage went on, we were sort of able to find the heroes and the compositions that we were confident and comfortable with. So I think that definitely helped as the days went on and as we played more games. All right, Finale, thank you so much for your time. Again, big congratulations on the win. 자, 승리 다시 한번 너무 축하드리고 인터뷰에 응해주셔서 너무 감사드립니다, 피날 선수. 감사합니다.
네,
바이바이.
감사합니다. 바이바이.
Yes.
Goodbye. Thank you so much. Another successful interview, Danny. You're doing it. You're doing it. And yeah, we got another match to discuss. That one went the distance. Hello.
Hey, we're on air.
Not in front of the people. Oh. Anyway. I don't know when I got so close to that plant, honestly. I don't know when it happened. But speaking of close, it was a close match. Wow, what a transition. Let's discuss what actually went down and how they managed to edge it out here in the end.
Yeah, it was just, for me, obviously, there was a lot of back and forth. I think we saw both strengths from both sides. But for me, at the final, chapter, the end of this match, Hisu just refused to lose. His Sojin just came up absolutely clutch. But there were so many parts throughout the entire series that sort of